Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
My name is John Downing. I've been an artist most of my life in some fashion or another. So the last couple of years, much like the rest of my creative life, just kind of fell into an interest that I never would have expected. And at that point too, I was just so intrigued with all of these little pieces that by themselves are totally inconsequential, but when you put pieces together and you form this whole image, I'm fascinated by that. I really, really am, and it has some connection to the work I do. I work in the domestic violence field and I work with the men, and so there again, the pieces of their lives that come together to form a whole picture. In some ways, symbolically, I work through that at home when I do my artwork. I love Lake Superior, and so currently I'm working on some projects that involve coffee tables, and they're in the shape of Lake Superior. I contacted my brother Will. He does custom furniture and custom cabinets and what have you, and he contacted me, and he had made 4 patterns like this. One of the first people I showed the first one that I did, she just looked back and she really liked it, and she said, "Is the shape significant of something?" And I just kind of went, "Well, yeah, it's Lake Superior, for crying out loud." "Oh, it is, I'll be darned." You know, it just didn't occur to me that people wouldn't know that. I would paint this, I would just prime it in white. And once it's white, I go on the internet and just look for images that have to do with Lake Superior. And I tend to piece images together. I don't find something and copy it. I might find the first one I did, I found a kayaker and I liked that idea, so I put that into it. I like a sunset, or actually it was a sunrise. I like camping up there, so I put all this stuff into it and found images on the internet and just kind of copied the images. And that one is called Son and Daughter Rising, because as it turned out, the kayaker looked very much like my daughter when she's in her kayak. And you know, working with glass, there are some limitations to that in terms of getting things to look a certain way. This actually turned out to look just like my daughter from the back, and she's looking at the sunrise on Lake Superior. And it's called Son, S-U-N, Son and Daughter Rising, and I really, really liked how that turned out. Covering a space of this size with pieces that are roughly 1 inch in length to anywhere from 3/4 to 1/4 of an inch in width takes a while. But I guess if you're in a hurry, this isn't the type of artwork I would suggest you do. And as all art and artists, there's a certain amount of pain involved. I am working with glass. I have learned not to try and catch glass if I drop it, that kind of stuff. And I leave a little bit of DNA in just about every piece that I do. It's just inevitable. But it's fully sealed, and I'm not going to get into the physiology of some of the blood-borne illnesses, but trust me, it's fully sealed and dried and what have you. So after painting it white, and obviously it dries, and then I just get out my number 2 pencil and start to draw the images. Usually I start with the primary image, and what I've found because these take so long, ideas come to me regarding, like I say, a primary image, but then the ideas will come like, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to put this over here, or maybe I'm going to try that. So I don't worry too much about the whole idea because it isn't there. It takes a few months, and it takes working on the core or the primary image. This is the second one that I'm working on. And because it's, again, the Lake Superior shape, I painted this white, and I've already started putting the glass on this one, but sticking with Lake Superior creatures, kind of the vibe of Lake Superior. It's really the only place that I've ever seen moose. And as you can see, there's already some blood stains on this one. So I had the face where it's at, and I was realizing that the antlers weren't quite what I wanted them to be, and so I was erasing, and like a fool, typically what I would do when I'm erasing is just take a paintbrush and brush the stuff away. Well, this time I was in a hurry, and so I just rubbed my hand, and I was just going like this to get the rubber from the eraser off, and it's glass. And every once in a while I'm like, John, it's glass, for heaven's sakes. And sure enough, I was bleeding and got it all over. And if I forget that it's glass, it doesn't take long before it reminds me that it's glass. What I have up to this point has taken me about a month, I think. And I think totally I've done, I don't know, but it's less than 10 because each one takes anywhere from 3 to 5 months. I buy glass. We have a local glass shop in town here. And I just buy these sheets of glass, and I buy the glass that has the most variations because I think that's what catches my eye, that's what catches my interest. And then depending on shape and direction and size, you know, it's just, there's no great science to it. I'll just snip it, I'll snap it. Sometimes they snap easily, sometimes they don't. And especially as the pieces get smaller, I've injured myself pretty badly trying to break off a smaller piece. And so as I work on this sort of stuff, this is what I do. I'll lay a piece down and say, no, I don't like that color. I'll sort through all the stuff that I have. I also have a little rule that the piece I'm looking for is already out there somewhere. I just have this kind of this guidance thing that the piece I'm looking for is already out there. Well, once they're all completely finished, I take them down to a little place in town here called Something Original in Grand Rapids, right on Highway 2, across from Old Central School. And people come in there and look at them. I haven't had anyone come in there and buy them, and that doesn't seem to bother me a whole lot. Frankly, when I get done with one, I just want it out of here so I can do the next one. What happens to them beyond this point is totally irrelevant to what I do and why I do these things.
If you enjoyed this segment of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org. If you have segment ideas pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund by the vote of the people on November 4th, 2008.